All right, it's a Friday. Let's check in on Wall Street here as we take a look at the big board. Well, we see so far the Dow is bucking the recent downtrend as, well, there's a lot of stock frenzy, of course, because of Facebook this morning. But the Dow is trading up about 35.5 points here, 5 minutes into trading to 12,477. Yes, on this business day, it is all about that most anticipated and potentially richest IPO ever. Facebook stock offering on the NASDAQ expected to raise nearly $13 billion, and the value of that social media giant at more than $100 billion. For perspective, that would make it worth more than McDonald's and Citigroup. So is that astronomical valuation legit? And is there a long-term business plan that will grow the company? For his take on that, we're joined by Hansen Hossein, the Director of Digital Media Communication at the University of Washington, who happens to be in New York for Internet Week, a big gathering there. Hansen, good morning. Good to see you there live in New York. Are you swimming?
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Are you swimming in all the Facebook hype this morning?
It's all Facebook all the time out here at Internet Week. Everybody's been talking about it. They're saying this is like the coming out for social media. So there's real optimism and a sense that social media is here to stay. But as we know, there's some real challenges right now for Facebook, specifically with ad revenues and whether they've got a sustainable mobile platform, which is where everybody has to be right now.
Yeah, you know, all right, so they've got 900 million people using Facebook, but some critics say that really this is no more than an exploding online fad. Is that fair, or is this the beginning of a bigger online trend?
I think it's part of an online trend. Social media is not a fad. It's becoming ingrained in our lives, especially with our smartphones. We are pervasively connected, and we want to share. And Facebook right now is the social utility. What they have to do is provide the innovation to make it as sticky as possible. There'll be other things that come along, and Facebook itself has admitted that they're not quite there with their mobile platform, so that's what they've got to do next. Social media is definitely here to stay.
As we listen to you, Hansen, we're seeing people celebrating at the NASDAQ and at Menlo Park, and let's just move on finally here with the business plan here. Big news this week, General Motors, the third largest advertiser in the U.S., says it will not advertise on Facebook. What message does that send the business world, and what do you make of that decision?
Well, Ford will say that GM's just not doing it right because Ford's really pleased with how their Facebook spend has been going. But I think what it is that this is very much a bet still. It's like advertising on television. You're not really assured that you're getting the people you want to engage with your brand. Unlike Google, where people are searching for a product, they get what they need with very directed advertising. So Facebook is still experimenting, and you have to want to live with that experimentation. And obviously GM wasn't seeing the value proposition. But I still think there's an upside. Facebook's got to do more work with their marketers to make it worth their while.
All right, bottom line, a lot of excitement and a day for technology here, and of course for one 28-year-old innovator to be sure. Hansen Hossein, as always, thank you for your insight on this significant development in the tech world. Appreciate you joining us.
My pleasure, Brad.
All right, meantime, other news that we're tracking here, our partners at the Puget Sound Business Journal. Get this report, a Kent man just got the okay to go on a deep-sea treasure hunt for riches from the past. A federal judge says Theodore Janes can try to locate the wreckage of the steamship Islander. That ship hit an iceberg and sank near Juneau, Alaska in 1901. Some estimate the hull holds up to $720 million worth of gold from the Yukon Gold Rush. We've linked this and other stories to the business section of KOMOnews.com. You can read more about that in the Puget Sound Business Journal. But this guy's going to get to go try to find all that gold.
That would be quite a treasure hunt.
How about
imagine.
That?
Probably not, billions worth like
right, yeah.
now
we do it with stock offerings.
Yes.
But this guy's going to do it the old-fashioned way.
A hole full of gold, and maybe a weather forecast full of gold. We'll see.